Big 12 now on ESPN+. We're in Lawrence, Kansas for a battle between two teams that might be on their way up. Colliding today, West Virginia and Kansas here at David Booth Kansas Stadium in Lawrence. Hello again, everybody. Along with Mike Golick Jr. and Larisha Harris, who is on the field. I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you very much for joining us for a very interesting game, because 2 weeks ago, both these programs took hits. You were here when Kansas lost to Coastal Carolina. West Virginia got blowed out in Missouri. A week ago, all of a sudden these teams are riding high. What happened?
Yeah, teams responded to adversity, and in a young season and with teams with new head coaches. We talked to Neil Brown yesterday at West Virginia, who said you can try and create adversity, but you never know what it's like until it hits. And this team responded, went out against a young NC State team and found creative ways to their run game. Had to move guys around a little bit. Have Austin Kendall at the helm of an offense that looked a little more complicated but really simplified things. And quite frankly, that was the story for Kansas as well, who went on the road to Boston College in an environment where they were 20-point dogs, simplified things down, and found some passing elements to their offense. Carter Stanley, an early interception. He responds with a big game. Khalil Herbert, this rushing attack. It all seemed to fire for them in a career day for this Kansas program on the road.
And everybody knows it's been tough times for Kansas football lately, but that win at Chestnut Hill really set a new standard for Kansas on the road, breaking a 48-game road losing streak to Power 5. Their most points on the road since last century, nearly 600 yards of offense, and they popped on 7 straight possessions. That's how hot Kansas was. And their head coach will be joining Larisha when we return. We'll have a conversation pre-kick with Les Miles. West Virginia won the toss. They will defer. Kansas will get the ball. That means Les Miles goes on offense. But before that, he's with Larisha Harris.
Coach, how do you build off your success from last week?
Well, it's a number of ways. First of all, our guys understand that they are in a conference and it's an opportunity to play big in a conference. And today is the day that you do building. Today is the day that you look forward to showing the country what you have.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Larisha and Coach, thank you very much. Conditions here could have been worse. Yesterday, we were concerned we would be in the middle of a downpour. There is still an opportunity, and we can see some rain on the horizon, but we do expect the heavy stuff won't come down for quite some time later on tonight. And it is very humid. It's sticky outside, and a little bit of a breeze going from the right of your device to the left. And take a look at Neil Brown, who had great success at Troy and hired to replace Dana Holgerson at West Virginia, off to a 2-1 start, and he was pretty blunt about the assessment of Mountaineer football through 3 games.
Absolutely understands there's a lot of room still to grow, understands the foundation they're laying right now, both on the field and off it in recruiting.
Toe meets leather, and here we go. And you see a little bit of that breeze taking effect. We'll start with a touchback and look at Kansas and their quarterback, Carter Stanley, the senior from Vero Beach, Florida, who outdueled Thomas McVitie for the starting job. And he got hot at just the right time because he had a nearly costly interception early in the Boston College game that really settled down.
Had thrown 3 interceptions in 50 attempts at that point, had Carter Stanley. And the turnovers had come on inexcusable decisions being made. And that was something him and Les Kenning, their offensive coordinator, talked about. Simplifying the process and making sure you, as the last line of defense at quarterback, don't get us killed.
And we see a fullback in there. That's Ben Miles, number 29, the coach's son, with Puka Williams Jr., the speedy back for Kansas, who gets the carry. And not much there for Williams. Maybe no gain. 2nd down and 10. Take a look at Mike's impact players for the Jayhawks on offense.
Yeah, no secrets here. Puka Williams, a guy who's certainly well known around the Big 12, was suspended for the opener, but since then has been dynamite on the field for them. And Andrew Parchment, 2 wins for Kansas on this season, 200-yard games for the stud wide receiver, the former Northern Illinois Husky.
Now Khalil Herbert checks into the tailback, number 10 for KU. And the South Florida product will get to the 29, spin to just about the 30, and he was gang tackled. And that is something that Vic, and I have to get this right because we have 2 cousins who pronounce their names differently. Vic Koenig
on the West Virginia side. Les Koenig, the offensive coordinator, going up against his second cousin in Vic Koenig, who understands some of the limitations they've got on defense right now. They're going to have to guess right and make some plays behind the line of scrimmage, and they're going to have to get hats to the ball. Great job of it early in this game.
And that was going to be my original point. And that's a long story, folks. We're going to need a lot of time to get into that. On 3rd and 5, that'll be dropped. Opportunity for the first down if Robinson had been able to hang on, so Kansas will go 3 and out in their opening possession.
And a good look at both teams' intentions early in that drive. A lot of spread sets from Kansas and a lot of misdirection up front on defense. They're going to move guys around, stunt them. That time, Robinson gets hit right in the hands of that ball. Should be an easy first down.
Kyle Thompson in to punt. Alex Sinkfeld awaits the return. And kicking into that breeze a little bit. This could be a challenge. Low and wobbly. And Sinkfeld just watches it go out at around the 29-yard line. So we'll bring out the Mountaineers offense following that 41-yard punt. And a look at the former Oklahoma Sooner now at quarterback, Austin Kendall. Bringing a lot of experience to a position where they obviously had a stud last year in Will Greer.
Absolutely. Not being able to crack the field in the quarterback room at Oklahoma is pretty understandable. The shuffle offense will find ways to ground and go. We'll start to the season there.
They are 123rd in the nation in rush offense, and that's an improvement after their win last week against NC State. They give off here to Kennedy McCoy, and he will get nowhere. No gain on the play, maybe even a loss of a yard. In there on the tackle, Jelani Brown. We take a look now at impact players, the other one.
Yep, you take a look at this West Virginia offense. Sam James, the redshirt freshman wide receiver, really came on for them in the win against North Carolina State. And Colton McKivitz, who Coach Brown said is probably the best player on our team, the left tackle, played on the right side last year, going to be asked to steady this shuffled group.
McKivitz, number 53 in the road whites. Going to take a shot. And a little bit long intended for Sam James. We've already talked a little bit about the impact he may have on this football game. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
We talked to Coach yesterday, and he said Sam probably has more on his plate than is fair to him at this point as a redshirt freshman. See Hassan Defense getting away with a little pulling right there, letting them be kind of physical on the outside. Neil Brown calling the plays for West Virginia. We'll see what he's got dialed up here on 3rd and long.
Kendall hangs in, throws wide open, 1st down and more for the Mountaineers to the 46-yard line. TJ Simmons, the redshirt junior from Birmingham, 17 yards.
And TJ Simmons was a guy who had actually gotten called out by this coaching staff after the first game for the need to improve as a blocker, that time getting wide open downfield on a great shot in the 1st 3rd down. Really opens up the offense. Now you can get into a little more of what you want, some of the misdirection that makes this offense go.
Back to McCoy, who kept his balance several times. It looked like he was going to go down. That is a hard-fought 5 yards for McCoy.
Encouraged early on by the movement West Virginia is getting up front on the offensive line. That time a great job by Bryson Mays in there at center. Getting some movement in the middle of that defense, making an easy cutback for a running game that's going to just do inside zone, outside zone, maybe a little counter.
Slant pattern there to the 44, 43-yard line. That's a chain mover. That'll be 6 and a 1st down.
Number 88, Isaiah Isdale.
West Virginia trying to get Kansas to tip their hand on defense. Tempo up to the line now. Look to the sideline. Check with me.
A lot of movement, and it's going to go to the right side. And knocked out of bounds by Drew Prox. Once again, McCoy with a carry.
And you saw number 16, Winston Wright. That motion going the other way, that fly motion to the left, gets everyone's eyes to hold there, and now all of a sudden creates a shorter edge on the right side. McCoy gets around there, and now second and manageable here. Keep yourself in favorable down and distance situations.
Only 4 to go here on the opening drive for the Mountaineers. Kansas went 3 and out on their first possession. Empty backfield for Austin Kendall. Little flipper. This is Sam James trying to get around the corner, and he is cut down by the safety, Mike Lee. The senior from New Orleans read that play beautifully. It'll be third down and about a yard to go.
You see up front, this is blocked like a reverse. Lineman trying to get out in front. A designed pitch play on that fly motion, but couldn't time it up. And Mike Lee, him and Bryce Tornaden in this secondary, 2 dynamic playmakers for the Jayhawks.
Wonder already if this is 2-down territory for the Mountaineers.
Watch out for a shot here, 12 personnel.
The handoff to Letty Brown, and he will sneak through to get a first down to the 32-yard line.
You get into an area of the field now from West Virginia where once they've gotten some bigger bodies on the field, this is not a team that uses a ton of 2 tight end sets, and especially didn't last week. Usually was an indicator of, something's funny if you're on defense looking at those personnel coming onto the field. Now you get into this high red zone area, and you wonder if a good play action pass with a pull action up front is coming.
Neil Brown will be calling plays until his career is over. That is something he insists on being responsible for. A little wraparound handoff to Letty Brown. He breaks through and just runs right into Jeremiah McCullough, a senior out of Baltimore. But it's still going to be a first down, a gain of 11.
Crafty little handoff there. You see Drew Prox getting sucked up just enough. Make the job easy for his offensive lineman.
10th play of the drive coming for West Virginia. Kendall, same thing. Not quite as successful. You see Prox is in there again and joined by Bryce Tornaden.
Yeah, that time ready for it. A little pressure coming there. You look at West Virginia, what you're trying to do. Kansas on defense, one of the best red zone defense in the country. Held opponents under 50% so far in the year. On the other side, get ready. You need sacks if you're this West Virginia defense. Getting to the quarterback, doing it with a pair of brothers we'll talk to on the other side and the Stills on D-line.
Staying on the ground, it's McCoy. He slipped a little bit. And credit for tackle will go to Najee Stevens-McKenzie, a senior out of Cleveland. So that sets us up. They're down at 6.
Now on the other side for Kansas, third down has traditionally been a 4-man rush and a chance for a guy like Najee Stevens to go and work. A very fluid athlete on the outside, a guy who, if he gets a tackle one-on-one, loves that up and under, a nice inside path to the quarterback.
Significant substitutions on both sides. A lot of different bodies in the game that were on the previous play. Five-man rush. Kendall hit right after he throws it. McCoy, 1 man to beat. First down to the 5, and he's tripped up and falls to the 2-yard line. First down, 3 for 3 on this drive. West Virginia, as Lee finally got him down.
And you're seeing Kennedy McCoy, a guy who's a preseason all Big 12 pick, working out of the backfield here and doing a great job, that little high step.
And West Virginia goes tromping into the end zone, and they had great success on the ground. Talked about right at the beginning of the drive, they are one of the worst teams statistically in the NCAA early in the season, but they did a lot of damage on the ground on this touchdown drive.
And you know what Neil Brown did to help him out? Tempo. There was a mix of tempo when they're getting up to the line fast and then checking a play. Here, they get right up to the line, and you see James Gaminter, their left guard, gets up to the second level and has a walk-in because the defense is standing around still trying to get the call.
Yeah, they got that play off very, very quickly, and what a march down the field. 13 plays, 71 yards in 5 minutes, 59 seconds, and Kennedy McCoy finishes it off with his 22nd career rush touchdown for the Mountaineers. And Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans. The exclusive home of more than 50 men's basketball games and hundreds of women's basketball games. And original content like the weekly Les Miles All-Access show during the college football season. You can sign up today at ESPNplus.com. So Neil Brown, the play calling for the West Virginia Mountaineers was nearly flawless, but the execution on third down really was what did this one for WVU.
3 for 3 on third down in that first drive, including some long situations. That big pass in the middle of the field came on a 3rd and 10 plus, usually an adverse situation. But Neil Brown, mixing tempo and looks, finds a way to help out his offense.
And a quick smack for Kansas to deal with. Let's see how they recover. They'll start at the 25-yard line. Well, we have an interesting battle on the sidelines today between two guys who won't be on the field, but they're trying to match their brains. Larisha, can you please explain all this?
Right. How often do we see this? Opposing coordinators, they are second cousins. Same last name, but different pronunciations. So you have Vic Koenig and Les Kenning, and they both told me, you know, brothers from Germany had this huge fight. One pulled a knife in a fist fight, or one pulled a gun in a knife fight. Regardless, it was a big fight. And one brother said, I'm headed out. And Vic believes that that was his side of the family because many of his relatives are from San Antonio.
Yeah, it's a complicated legacy between the two, and they have not met very often either as opposing coaches. A great throw from Carter Stanley on first down, finding Stephen Robinson Jr. for a 14-yard pickup.
That first down was brought to you by Raising Cane's.
Stephen Robinson, we remember, had the costly drop. Costly drop to end that last drive, and so going right back to him, which you want to see from your quarterback. Great confidence in the guys he's got on the outside.
Herbert is the tailback for the Jayhawks. And he'll get a little pitch. And he'll fall forward for almost 2 yards. Give him 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Josh Chandler among the tacklers for West Virginia.
And this was one thing coming into this game I wondered how much we'd see. They had so much success working from the shotgun last week, but getting into Big 12 play with a team like West Virginia, who's not going to see a lot of teams running power I, fullback, power plays, how much Les Miles and company might look to give them something they can't really prepare for with the personnel they've got.
Looking to screen to Puka Williams, and that was read beautifully by Hakeem Bailey, who started the season as the leading career tackler for the Mountaineers who came in for 2019. He had this one diagnosed.
Use the attention on the other side. The difficulty is trying to set up deception for number one is people are usually looking for Puka Williams. The defense is identifying that guy. Have to imagine they're going to use him as kind of the guy to disguise some of those plays, not the subject of it.
It was a 6-yard loss, 3rd down and 15. This time Puka stays in the block. Pressure for Stanley, a lot of pressure. Flings it. Coming back to the ball and making a fine catch is Dalen Charlotte. But it looks like they're going to mark him a little short. Let's see.
Looks like he's about 2 yards shy there. And
well, how big a gambler is Les Miles? He has the reputation of taking chances. And he is just about a full 2 yards here, too.
Looks like we got the punt team coming out on the field right now. Probably the right decision. You're in that critical moment of the game where you still want to have confidence in your defense, pin them back, and play some field position.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of problems here with organization for West Virginia. And there's a penalty marker down also.
Prior to the snap, West Virginia calls their first time out of the half. 30-second timeout.
I'm not sure the Mountaineers even had anybody back to receive the punt. That seemed to be the problem, so they took the timeout, leading by 7. Left in the opening quarter. The Jayhawks basketball team was in the news yesterday. The Kansas City Star reported the program is expected to receive a notice of allegations from the NCAA regarding several major violations. Kansas was among the programs associated with Adidas that were named during the federal bribery and corruption investigation into college basketball. And so far, only North Carolina State has been charged by the NCAA with any major violations. The NCAA isn't commenting on pending or potential violations, and the Kansas Associate AD for Public Relations, Dan Beckler, told the KC Star the university has not received any notification from the NCAA. During the break, we stopped the frame and counted 13 Mountaineers on the field, Mike, and nobody was back to receive the punt.
Les Miles pretty jealous he didn't think of that one. You can get 13 guys on the field.
This punt isn't going very far. Look out here. That kind of fouled that one off a little bit.
You mentioned earlier going into the wind that way. First punt was short. This one looked a little bit like a lame duck.
31-yard line. That's going to be a 22-yard punt for Kyle Thompson, who had been averaging 48 so far for Kansas. So what does Neil Brown do here? He had a very successful 13-play drive where nearly everything worked the way he wanted it to. And a lot of motion was used last week against NC State. NC State admitted they were caught a little bit off guard by that, and they didn't adjust to it well. We start with an empty set. It's not empty anymore. And West Virginia goes back to Sam James, always a good idea, and he's going to be pretty close to the marker. A little slow to get up. James was gigantic against NC State last week. 9 catches, 155 yards, and a TD. Second and a couple here. On the roll. And again, using the short side of that field. Catch made by Winston Wright Jr. And you see West Virginia seems to be in a hurry now on offense after the first down.
A lot of lateral motion for West Virginia right now to spring these guys loose. That time you saw James, who was getting rightly all that attention during film during the week, coming across in an area where he usually gets the pitch, and now all of a sudden you can run play action off the backside with that boot.
First and 10, West Virginia at the 44.
Well, Kendall's got all day to take a deep shot down the field. 2 receivers down there, and nobody can get to it. The intended receiver was Sam James. There was another Mountaineer in the pattern, maybe by mistake.
Early success of the run game, you see James taking that slant vertical down the middle of the field, and the ball just gets caught up a little too much. Again, an area where you start to wonder how much the wind in the stadium is going to affect those deep shots.
Yeah, Mike Lee actually had a better chance at it for Kansas than did James. Second down and 10. Looks like any rain has moved out of the area. Pretty pleasant day out here right now. McCoy trying to find a little room, and did. Takes the tackler head on. And you can see Lee flexing after the hit, but he got as good as he gave.
He did, and unfortunately it's going to give a little bit more.
And we have a flag down, and Brandon Cruz, our referee, holding on West Virginia.
Bryson Mays goes for the single leg takedown at the second level, trying to get up on the linebacker here. You see him dip under, get that arm hold underneath the chest, going to get that called every time. This is where Kansas has to take advantage right now. Try and keep them in these down and distance situations, simplify so you can get a screen or a draw on 3rd and 15 and get off the field.
All the way back to their own 34-yard line. Second down and 20. Plenty of time, miscommunication, interception. Tornadin, the captain of the defense, comes up with a diving grab around midfield.
Miscommunication between Austin Kendall and TJ Simmons on the timing here. Floats right through his hands.
Whoops, wait a minute. But you replay booth, yeah, we may get a buzz down from Don Capral, the replay official. See if this holds up. Yeah, here comes. Understandably, why you want to take a closer look at it. So this may end up working in West Virginia's favor, and how lucky are they?
Called an interception on the field. We'll take a look at it right here. Ooh.
Well, we hope to have a ruling for you when we come back to Lawrence, Kansas, with the Mountaineers leading 7-0. An answer on whether or not that was an interception, and we turn to the referee, Brandon Cruz, for the decision.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. Ball being returned to the previous spot. It's 3rd and 20. Game clock will be reset to 4 minutes, 2 seconds. 4:02.
And I can understand this ruling.
Yeah, you get this angle perfectly right here, and you see the ball hits his hands, drops, bounces off the ground just enough for the officials to make the right call. Unfortunately, West Virginia's reward is 3rd and 20.
And they'll draw play it to Kennedy McCoy. He took a hit at the 40-yard line. Kind of a high-low job up top. The Sun defense was down low, and he also got hit pretty hard up top as well. So it'll be 4th down and long.
This defense gained a lot of confidence last week for Kansas. You go on the road and shut out Boston College in the second half. Really bowed up against a premier rushing attack, big running back in Boston College. Now get a chance to try and carry that into the next week.
Josh Groudon in the punt, senior from Sydney, Australia, the hot spot for punting these days. Let's go to the kick here down to the 10-yard line, so Kansas will have their worst starting field position as Kwame Lassiter did the only thing he could do after a 50-yard boomer. Well, a lot of people believe Kansas, Mike, has some of the best runners in the entire Big 12, and they only have one. They've got two.
They got two rushers over 100 yards last week for the first time since 2014 for the Jayhawks. And you see the volume for Puka Williams. That's the way it's going to be. Herbert being efficient, had a big 80-plus yard run before the end of the first half. And now they line up in that I formation, and they get Herbert on the field where he's comfortable. Very similar area of the field.
Right now it's Herbert, fullback there. Herbert in West Virginia is awaiting for him. That was a great job by Dylan Tonkery to take on the blocker, then allowing his teammates to come in for the spot and the tackle. And let's get down to the field. And Larisha.
Well, I had the opportunity to chat with Khalil Herbert for a little while, and he has a big personality. He told me he loves comic books and superheroes. He actually compared himself to Iron Man, even though his favorite superhero is Flash. He said he's Iron Man and Puka is Flash.
And Dom Williams, the third member of that backfield, Captain America. Stanley, design run, trying to find a little bit of room, and he'll take a couple of yards. 3rd down and 8 coming up. We never did get, Mike, your keys for a Jayhawks victory today, so what did you come up with?
Yeah, you look for Kansas, especially on offense going into this week. You want a clean sheet for Carter Stanley. This is a guy who this coaching staff and Les Kenning were frustrated with some of the decision-making that led to interceptions for him. And then continuing to manufacture big, efficient plays. They had been around 5 yards per play going into the BC game, over 9.4 in the first half of that one.
Stanley's got a little bit of time. He'll throw down the middle into traffic. The catch will be made, but I don't think it's a first down. In fact, they're a yard short. The completion to Lassiter. And Bailey in there on the stop, and that's really surprising that Lassiter wasn't around the 20-yard line where he needed to be.
And this is the second consecutive drive where you've either had a play called with a route short of the sticks or a wide receiver not running and getting to the yards to gain. Either are inexcusable in this spot because now you've got a second straight punt, giving the ball back to West Virginia in that field position you thought you would just flip.
You see Lassiter, he was just short by considerable distance, and this is a weird little kick. Now again, the wind could be an issue here as to why he kind of flipped the top on that. It kicked it low, but the Mountaineers will have position at around the 43-yard line, maybe even the 44 when they get the football back. Next Saturday, the Big 12 Now on ESPN+. This is an excellent game. Kansas State, Oklahoma State. Chuba Hubbard for the Cowboys. Tylan Wallace among the very best in the conference in all-purpose yards. They're averaging a combined 26 points per game to start the season. The Wildcats and the Cowboys at 7 Eastern next Saturday on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Oklahoma State's going down to Austin. They're there now, of course, to play Texas tonight. And for the Longhorns, I assure you, I don't think that game's going to be easy. Flags are down as McCoy runs to the right and is brought down at around the 47-yard line. Once again, Mike Gundy may have the triple-headed monster he needs to succeed there. Quarterback, running back, receiver.
Offside. Defense. Number 9 jumped into the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
And 5.
Look at the last drive for West Virginia. Again, this drive that kicked off the game for them. Success on 3rd down was the story. 3 for 3 on 3rd down on that drive. Draws, play action passing, and finally a walk-in run to score the touchdown.
So on 1st and 5, under a minute in this opening quarter, the Mountaineers up 7. McCoy gets to about 48. That's really it. And Stevens McKenzie, number 9 for Kansas, in there again with another hit. No gain.
Looks like a little bit of a page out of Kansas's playbook. A little power action there. Bringing the fullback actually ends up looking like a counter, but too slow developing. Gives Najee a chance to make the play.
Throw down the middle, incomplete. Overthrows Sean Ryan. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Coverage by number 8, Kyle Newberry. It's 3rd down 4.
Interesting to watch Neil Brown mix these tempos, Mike, in these drives. Sometimes rapid, sometimes very slow.
And mixing personnel, tight end on the field now. 3rd and 5, you'd expect this another area, maybe a token play action fake here.
Kendall in a lot of trouble, and he'll be sacked. Darius Mulroney, number 97. Stevens McKenzie was in there again with another big play, and West Virginia will punt.
Great job by Najee, knocking down the hands of Colton McKivitz on the left side. We mentioned Neil Brown told us probably the best player on their team, a guy making his 39th start, or 38th start, excuse me, in this game.
And that will be the end of the quarter, and that's significant because now Josh Grouden's going to have to punt into a tricky wind that certainly was causing problems for Kansas's punter. We'll see how he handles it when we return. West Virginia wins the first quarter of this Big 12 opener for these two sides, Kansas and the Mountaineers. 7-0 West Virginia. So, Mike, Neil Brown's offense takes the ball the first time around, 13 plays, 71 yards. Since then, they've run 8 plays. They've gained 7 yards, and they're punting right now into the wind. And that's another wobbler, and Lassiter just gets out of the way. And that's a smart move because that ball looks like it goes a certain distance and just gets smacked.
It's been interesting watching both of these offenses because one thing a lot of teams do to start the game is script plays. Whether it's the first 10 or 15 plays, you've got your best, the ones that you practice over and over that you're ready for against any look. And then you get off the script, and everyone, including the play callers, including your young quarterback in some of this situation with Carter Stanley, are now flying by the seat of their pants. And we've seen both teams struggle now that they've gotten away from some of that scripted element.
So Kansas at the 25-yard line. It's either been the 25 or the 10 so far for KU on offense. They have not had great field position. Puka Williams, number 1, is the tailback. With Miles, the fullback, he'll try to find a hole. And if he gets outside, this guy can go. Gets a little block from the quarterback, and they have a first down. Puka Williams is really fast, and he'll move the chains. It is a first down.
Puka's got the green light to do absolutely whatever he wants. This is outside zone going towards the right. You are not covered on that backside by any of your blockers. But Puka's so special and has so much speed, he can put a foot in the ground. And you've seen this coaching staff will not coach that out of him in any sense.
Pressure coming from the edge. Delayed handoff to Williams, and Williams spins in traffic. That's a solid 4-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Zach Sandwich, number 31, among the tacklers at that bandit end position, kind of a rush end for West Virginia.
It's a huge part of this defense for Vic Koenig, something he talked about yesterday, an area they really want to recruit hard. It's one he's coached a lot of former pros in the past. You get that edge pressure there. As an offensive lineman, knowing you've got to draw something, that's a real oh bleep moment as everyone comes crashing down into the area you're trying to open up.
Looking at Williams, in trouble. Stanley, he got out of that somehow and makes a great move. Stanley in the West Virginia territory, down to the 41-yard line, maybe the 42, before he is finally dragged down. A big play made by the legs of Carter Stanley.
So they start this play trying to use Puka Williams as the decoy to open something up down the field. Blocking misses up front. This is exactly what Les Kenning had talked to Carter Stanley about. You are our get-out-of-jail-free card. If it's not open and everyone else messes up, just take off and run. That's a win for us. Probably didn't count on the sweet moves.
19-yard pickup for Stanley. And then a 1 yard pickup will be second down and 9. Well, there was a situation in the Boston College game where perhaps if he had tried something like that, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble with his coaches. And you're going to see that a little bit later on in our broadcast. That'll be all part of the miles to go that is on ESPN Plus right now. First time in West Virginia territory today for the Jayhawks. Stanley is going to sling it too high. 3rd and 9.
Kansas going with a little tempo of their own, and on the last couple of plays, you've seen the brothers Stills start to make their presence felt. Darius and Dante Stills, both guys who have been living in Big 12 backfield, tied for 3rd in the Big 12 in sacks per game, each with 3 going into this one.
55 is Dante, 56 is Darius. Darius will head to the sidelines to avoid a too many men penalty.
Would love to see them get to number 4, Andrew Parchment, in the slot here. Very quiet game for their best receiver.
He was overthrown on the last play. No way he could have caught that one. Stanley going to try pretty much the same play, but this one's successful. Has a nice job of getting the foot down there by Stephon Robinson Jr., the junior out of LA, and that'll be a first down.
Good job up front. You see the back come over and help out the line, and nobody within a country mile of Stephon Robinson. And a great opportunity, Kansas, to see them again getting up to the line, use some tempo of their own.
First successful 3rd down conversion. First 3rd down conversion. Stanley down the middle, finds his man on the 14-yard line. Could he be in the end zone? He is! Touchdown, Kwame Lassiter!
Again, another instance where you see Parchment down right on the line of scrimmage, buying up the eyes of the defense, helping out his fellow receivers. Lassiter coming across the formation, no one grabbing him, lost in the middle of that zone. Give Carter Stanley credit for putting it right in that gap and allowing him some room to run after the catch for a great, much-needed touchdown for this offense.
The safety, Kerry Martin, also got stuck in the turf a little bit, too, so he wasn't there when the pass was caught. He stumbled just a touch. And that made it even a little bit easier for Lassiter. He did a tremendous job tight-roping down the sidelines to score. We are knotted up with 12:06 to go in the second quarter. Kansas goes 7 plays, 75 yards, and 243 in this 28-yard touchdown delivery from Carter Stanley to Kwame Lassiter.
Here in Kansas,
Hello. There's none on this side.
And that doesn't help either, that they didn't buy up their tickets. And that's a pretty strong fan base, as you know, so it surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, again, both these teams coming off big wins. You'd expect they're like, why not try and get in on some of the momentum?
So there you heard the clip that will be shown in Miles to Go. And it's so funny because Carter Stanley just made a similar play the right way this time.
Yeah, that was the coaching point. Les Kenning, you heard some of the frustration there. Decision-making, such a big part of playing quarterback at any level. Needing his quarterback to make smarter, simpler decisions. Said, you are our fail-safe. If all else goes wrong, you have to make us right. And he did with his legs on the last drive. They said a punt is not a bad thing. A field goal is not a bad thing. A run with a couple of sweet jukes for a first down is certainly not a bad thing. They will take that.
Yeah, that was a 19-yard pickup. It put Kansas in West Virginia territory for the first time today, and they end up going all the way for the touchdown. Now it's up to Austin Kendall to try to reignite a Mountaineers offense that blistered down the field for 13 plays and a score in their first drive, but has struggled since then.
This is another offense where Neil Brown has so many toys to play with formationally that you don't want to lose sight of the fact that you had a big reshuffling on this offensive line. 3 guys made their first start last week against NC State. This is still a work in progress.
Lenny Brown goes out in motion and a quick slant to the 27-yard line. That's going to be just a couple of hard-earned yards for T.J. Simmons. It'll be second and long. Tyron Johnson in there on the stop with some help for Kansas defensively. Falls forward for 2 more. 3rd down and 6.
Sam Burton doing a great job making that play. This is what this offense wants to do, is formation-wise, get guys out of that box. Have 5, maybe 6 defenders for this offensive line to have to block against. And so it's huge for your D linemen to get off their blocks and make plays in the backfield, make life easy so you don't split and get an easy big run.
Looking to those 3 receivers who broke left, contested for, and caught. What a special play made by Sean Ryan out of Brooklyn. He will get the 1st down, got tangled up with Kyle Mayberry, but he won the battle.
All over him right there. I mean, there was no shot at this, but the Temple transfer making a strong catch.
This is like a play that might have been busted, and QB does a good job. Kendall will run out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
You got miscommunication on that little wide receiver screen action towards the bottom, and a similar coaching point we talked about for Carter Stanley. If all else fails, see if you can get a couple yards, keep us going forward.
And again, the ever-shifting tempo used by West Virginia. This is Lenny Brown. Brown's going to get a 1st down and a lot more. Gets a key block and is taken down at the 30-yard line. That was Sean Ryan, who made that great catch a couple of plays ago with a tremendous block, allowing Brown to pick up about 10 more yards.
You saw the defense switch strength right there at the end. Number 5, Azu Kamara, and Bryce Tornado flop side there, alternated. Then you have the motion come, so now you've got a defense trying to get reset where its eyes are, flipping the formation. Then you bring the motion player across, and now you just pop an easy zone run going towards that replacement side coming from that motion.
30-yard pickup. We go to the boundary side here. That's going to be a healthy gain to the 21-yard line. Catch made by Ollie Jennings out of Richmond. He's just a freshman, his 4th catch on the year. And all of a sudden, West Virginia is hot again on offense.
6-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 4 at the 23.
2nd down and 4. Looking for the end zone. In trouble. And sacked! Drew Prox, 2nd sack of the season. He's been averaging 10 tackles a game through the first 3 for KU.
Drew Prox does a great job getting involved, but make no mistake, this play is made by the Kansas secondary on the outside, trying to set up. Who's been going outside those little wide receiver screens. You saw Austin Kendall pump there, trying to pump fake there. He had the 2 receivers, normally blockers, streaking down on routes that were covered. The play is busted, and it allows your great linebacker to come up and get a huge stop and force a 3rd and long.
That's a 10-yard loss. We went from 2nd and 4 to 3rd and 14. Timeout going to be called here by West Virginia. So Drew Prox with a huge defensive play for Kansas come up a little hobbling, but it was his delayed blitz that drove back 10 yards of the Mountaineers drive.
Williams again in the backfield, flanking Stanley. This time the fake to him goes over the top. Had a receiver, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Allen Track. Continues to stay on his feet. He's out of bounds.
The linebacker dropped back. That's his read. He threw the ball. He should have handed the ball off. I'll go one more series with him.
Episode 7 of Miles to Go. Les Miles in Kansas football is streaming on Big 12 now on ESPN+. Weekly episodes drop every Thursday throughout the season, and the whole series can be watched on demand on Big 12 now on ESPN+, where you're watching this game right here. 3rd and 14, Mountaineers in Kansas territory. Tied at 7. Tunnel screen. Short gain. Interesting decision. I don't know how you're going to kick a long field goal into this win.
Trying to eat up some chunk yardage there, motion the running back out, and give your quarterback as much information as possible. And the decision-making on both sides about what to do, whether it's punt, field goal, has been pretty slow. It looks like they're going to leave the offense on the field in this range. Uncomfortable maybe with that distance considering the wind.
That'd be about 48 yards into a stiff breeze. A low percentage even for an NFL kicker. So Kendall will try to make something happen. He has the pocket, has time, and it's incomplete. Broken up by Jeremiah McCullough. And Kansas takes over on downs.
Just a great job by McCullough of having his eyes on the quarterback the whole way, sinking back into the middle of the field, sees him lock on, plants his foot, breaks. Austin Kendall's lucky that one wasn't picked off. Down in the red zone, this is where this Kansas defense bowed up last week, obviously just outside it there in the high red.
You know what? It's probably better than it would have been because McCullough might have been down 12 yards further down the field with 20 as opposed to the field position they have now with the 31.
Hidden yardage, beautiful thing.
Yep. See if it makes a difference for Kansas. They scored on their most recent drive. Fake to Puka Williams. Stanley comes out gunning. Pass to the 41-yard line, maybe just a little short of the first down in Charlotte.
And I'm amazed we still haven't heard from number 4, Andrew Parchment, unless I missed something.
They had one overthrow for him, and that's been it.
2nd and 1 at the 40.
Maybe they're looking that way now. Stanley, he got hit. The ball got hit. It is out. That could very well be ruled a fumble, and it is. West Virginia takes over at the 47-yard line. Josh Chandler, number 35, watch for him.
So you see the initial pressure by Dante Stills.
Make that 55, Dante Stills, not 35. 55, Dante Stills. And it's Chandler who winds up with the football.
Guy that's no stranger to the backfield. Dante Stills, number 1 in the Big 12 in tackles for loss. We mentioned him and his brother tied for 3rd in sacks per game each. And just a great job splitting a double team up top, creating pressure on a pass that was designed to go deep. So you had a shot play dialed up there. Stanley's patting the ball in the pocket, trying to hold on, trying to let a guy break loose. Get enough of that hand in there.
The issue is, did he just lose the ball out of his hand while throwing it? Right now, we're not getting any kind of ruling from the replay booth at all.
The Kansas defense trotting out into the field.
Yeah. So. The referee has not been buzzed. The replay booth, they've looked at it. We've had plenty of time because we've looked at it 2 or 3 times. And we're playing on from the 45-yard line. Lenny Brown. And he seems to be the hot back at the moment for West Virginia, getting a dominant share of the carries in this quarter. Gains 8 there before Mulraney brings him down.
And a lot of them going left behind Colton McKivitz. We mentioned his 38th start. A lot of experience and a lot of good football on that side of the line.
Stay with him. A nice move there in traffic. Cut down by Mike Lee, but another first down for the sophomore from Philadelphia, as you mentioned. Former Temple player, didn't play the first 2 games for the Mountaineers with a bum ankle.
And now you're getting into that 30-yard line near the high red zone area. You have a couple of successful runs. You've got a first down. Take a look at the end zone here. Try and see if you can sneak one by this Kansas defense that's been locked in this area of the field.
They're bringing the fullback, number 42, Logan Timmons here. He's out for the pattern. The pass incomplete. Good pressure on the quarterback that time. Force a hurried throw. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, I think the action of that play got sped up a little bit by the defender in the backfield. Austin Kendall a little off balance. You see Tornadin coming on the pressure there, forces the early and errant throw. This Kansas defense, I have to give him a ton of credit. Bryce Tornadin plays that hawk spot in the defense, sort of a safety linebacker combo. Makes a ton of plays for the Jayhawks.
And he's coming right at the quarterback right now, but Kendall throws just a little bit behind the intended receiver, TJ Simmons, and I wonder if he was feeling a little bit of that pressure again from Tornadin.
We mentioned just getting him a little bit of off balance. Dan Orlovsky, who does great work for us, talks about how all quarterbacks are searching for that rhythm, and you saw so much of it early for Kendall and this offense as a whole. And now, because this Kansas defense is taking some chances, they put themselves in a spot now where they can turn loose Najee Stevens-McKenzie and these rushers.
Martell Pettaway is the tailback now for West Virginia. He is out of the pattern. They go with the tunnel screen again, this time to James, and James takes a hit from Mike Lee 3 yards short of the first down.
Mike Lee, your 2016 freshman All-American. You see him, number 11, right at the top of the screen, tracks this the entire way, sees it coming, puts his foot on the gas, and takes his shot. You hear defensive coordinators say that all the time. Go forward with 100 miles an hour and take your shot. Takes out the legs and forces a field goal try.
So earlier they passed up a 48-yard attempt. This one from 42. Into the wind for Evan Staley. 3 for 5 on the year. And that is no good. Kansas will hold, and the play by Mike Lee preventing a first down. And this has turned into a defensive battle between Kansas and West Virginia in Lawrence. You could, if you'd like, a few blocks away, go to that hotel there and have a little roof party and keep an eye on Kansas and West Virginia.
The Oriad, beauty.
Oriad, yeah, it is nice. That's a huge hotel. A bit breezy up there today, though. New set of downs for Kansas after the missed field goal. Short gain here. It'll be second down and 8 as Puka Williams Jr. is wrestled to the ground.
By number 23.
West Virginia defensively is an interesting outfit. They were so used to that 3-3-5 for the longest time here. And now you're still trying to kind of mess with the offense's eyes. 3 down linemen and linebackers hovering around the area. And you really got to pay attention to where those safeties and cover guys are. Where do I have 3 bodies over 1, 4 bodies over 2 to show me where that 4th rusher is going to add?
Give to Williams again. And he sort of disappears at the 30-yard line. A lot of West Virginia tacklers around the football. Stewart was in there. Jones also, number 91, Reuben Jones, who used to play at Michigan. They're down at 5. Pressure up the gut, and that will not work. Well diagnosed, tough throw for Carter Stanley to make. He had Dante Stills right in his face, and Shea Campbell getting a chance to play today comes up with a big hit.
And you see the left guard, Malik Clark, just flat out getting beat there. The great job of using cadence by the quarterback. You saw the clap there. The defense shows their hand. You see the blitz coming. So as an offensive lineman, I know the protection and I know everyone's going to slot. I've got to win my one-on-one matchup. And that time, advantage West Virginia.
That time it was actually 56. Darius Stills who came in with the pressure, as Kansas now only 20% conversion on 3rd downs. And you see what a difference the wind makes. That punt going to be out of bounds. And there's a penalty marker down at the 35-yard line. The ball has been spotted at the 28-yard line.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 25. 10-yard penalty from where the kick went out of bounds. It's first down, timeout on the field.
Well, that'll back up the Mountaineers inside their own 20-yard line. A dilemma for Neil Brown and his Mountaineers offense to be solved perhaps when we return.
Welcome back to Lawrence. Well, head coach Neil Brown talked to me before the game, and he told me about his team philosophy where everybody is all in, and it encompasses trusting the climb. You know, they had a couple of things that they did to build team chemistry, and one of those is team bonding activities. They went to coal mines to make sure that his team knew about the history of West Virginia, because they are the only Power 5 school in the state, and he wanted to make sure that the guys played for the state.
That's very important. West Virginia fans are a devoted bunch regardless of the sport. And if you can identify with your populace, that's a great idea. McCoy brought down for a loss of a couple. Mike, I was talking to you during the break. I'm a little surprised this has turned into a defensive struggle.
It really has. You see the confidence Kansas played with last week branching over, but I'm a little surprised at this West Virginia offense that came out looking so strong and sure of itself, now seeming to struggle to find a balance between some run and pass. You're back. You've got a lot of open area in the field right now. You've had success in the run, but I liked a couple of those screens. You've got a lot of area. Get the ball into the hands of Sam James and let him work.
Just dropped 20-yard line. Maybe a little too hot to handle for Tevin Bush, who is returning from a one-game suspension. Well, the KU defense so far for DJ Elliott, 4 tackles for a loss and 2 sacks.
And now you get the NASCAR unit that gets to come out of the field right now. Some pass rush specialists ready to pin their ears back. They've been in a lot of these situations lately. 3rd and long spots where it's easy to play defense. You can fire downhill. Defensive backs are getting ready to break on the ball, and these D linemen are ready to turn it loose.
Kendall hanging in, collapsed. Pocket is down, Kendall is down, and the hit made by Caleb Sampson. 3rd sack for the Jayhawks.
You see it's a game right on the outside. The end's going upfield. Azur Kamara makes that play by creating penetration on the left side and shortening the edge. Games are all about giving the D lineman coming on the loop less space to have to work with.
Well, you can get some big field position switch right here because of that wind that Crowden will be punting into. Look where Lassiter is. Lassiter is at his own 44. Excuse me, the West Virginia 44. Look out, you can't let that touch a Kansas player, and it didn't. And it ends up rolling very favorably for the Mountaineers too, oddly enough. The Kansas 44-yard line. That's a great job by the redshirt senior punter to get 46 yards out of that.
The Aussie we mentioned, the former Australian rules football star, was a guy that was actually at LSU to start his career, started his freshman year, and then lost his job, oddly enough, his sophomore year, right before Neil Brown's Troy team came in and beat LSU. Thought about going back to play Australian rules football. That ship had sailed. So now you've got the 26-year-old punter out here, 8 years the senior of his backup, Colton McGee. But a guy part of that Pro Kick Australia, those Australian punters that have made that move over to America and really taken college football and the NFL by storm.
So the officials had a brief conference, and then it broke up, and nothing has changed on the field. It'll be 1st and 10 Kansas with Khalil Herbert and the running back. On the ground, Herbert. Maybe a yard.
They're doing a great job manipulating the snap count to give their line a clean look. On simple zone plays like this, when you see the linebackers creeping downhill, anytime those inside linebackers are on levels, we'd call them, you're alert for that firing downhill, but just not able to create enough of a seam.
Yeah, they go to Puka with some blocking, and that's not going to matter because West Virginia ate that play alive. It'll be 3rd and long. Josh Norwood, number 4, led the parade that time for the Mountaineers. Kansas with 3 timeouts remaining. West Virginia has just 1.
And you're in the 2-minute drill now, so you've got to see some of that sense of urgency.
Now, 1 out of 5 third downs right now for Kansas in this half. A bit of time here for Stanley. Can't find anybody open, and he takes a sack. That time, Dante Stills, Dylan Tonkery. Tonkery ended up flying in, and that's the 2nd sack, the 11th sack already for West Virginia. With 61 seconds remaining in the half, West Virginia will get the ball back. West Virginia used their final timeout of the half to stop the clock with 1:01 to go. Larisha Harris and Mike Golick Jr., Dave Lamont. Mike, great coverage here.
Yeah, nothing really to speak of. Good initial pressure by Dante Stills, but ultimately no one open downfield, gives everyone a chance to rally to the quarterback.
And rally they did.
How about this? West Virginia defense has forced 4 3-and-outs on 7 Kansas drives.
1 for 6 Kansas. This is a low bouncer and maybe a returnable one. Definitely returnable here for Sinkfield. And Sinkfield will be brought down by the back of the jersey at the 30-yard line. Hopefully he wasn't hurt by that because that could be awkward. And he was able to get up pretty quickly there. So you have no timeouts. And you're at the 29-yard line. Oh, yeah. And that is not a horse collar because he had him down by the lower end of that 20 right there.
Now, legal in that situation, but always uncomfortable when you see guys planted and going backwards, knowing there's also a chance that, kind of like a car crash, someone could be coming from that other direction.
So what's the game plan for Neil Brown with no timeouts? Little drop off here. The 35, got to get out of bounds, and done at the 37-yard line by Wright.
You get conservative jabs at the beginning of drives like this. A pitch play where, all right, if you get tackled for a minimal game and the clock's running, you take it into the half. But now that you get up there and things are moving and you get out of bounds, maybe take a shot downfield.
They're going to hand it off to McCoy, and McCoy is going to stop the clock with the first down, at least temporarily. They get to the 48-yard line. The clock stopped at 38 seconds to go. Prox makes the stop. West Virginia up very quickly after that 10-yard gain. We have a whistle, timeout, Kansas. And they'll take a 30-second timeout. That means Kansas has 2 left.
Look at this Kansas defense. Physical performance, especially in the secondary. Jeremiah McCullough, Bryce Tornaden, Najee Stevens-McKenzie has been dynamic off the edge for them. They've been winning on first and second down, forcing West Virginia into bad situations. So you give these guys opportunities to tee off. A great coverage sack there by Drew Prox. A great job on the end tackle game by Sampson. This group has played with so much confidence in sudden change situations we've seen coming off turnovers, and down in the red zone where they were unbelievable and have been one of the best teams in the country. Under 50% scoring allowed in the red zone this season.
So West Virginia will get out of bounds to stop the clock. With 31 seconds to go, Kennedy McCoy gets to midfield. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a look at the unique path into college football to Mountaineers defensive lineman Mike Brown. Last week, Kansas's big celebration and a preview of a big game, Oklahoma State and Texas in the Big 12 on ABC. Again, not getting out of bounds, but getting a first down on 41. Now, the catch was made by Sam James. But the clock will start pretty quickly here.
Get out of bounds there. Now you're in position to run your offense. You've done a great job in essentially just over 20 seconds getting down to within range. You've got a couple of good shots towards the end zone here if you want to take one. Paint the sidelines, and then if all else fails, make sure you're getting guys out of bounds. Make sure it's incomplete or over someone's head so you have a chance to come out of this with points.
2nd and 4. This will be a first down, and McCoy will get to the 24-yard line. You've even given yourself a chance maybe at a field goal attempt. They tried one from 41 earlier, 42 that didn't work, but you are in range.
Absolutely. 12 seconds left now. Again, you've got time for a full play here if you want to look towards the end zone. Maybe one more to keep it short, but plenty of options.
12 seconds left. No timeouts again for West Virginia. And there's your shot to the end zone, and it misses. Over the head of Sean Ryan, who was well covered that time by Corian Harris.
Physical at the top of this route by Corian Harris. You see contact coming from both sides, so nothing really for you to call there as a referee. I like them letting them play. That's really been the tone set early on in this game.
You only got 7 seconds here.
This has to be a quick one, and it's confidence in your quarterback no matter what to get this ball off on time, going towards the sidelines or nothing else.
There it is, to the sidelines, stops the clock. And that will allow a field goal attempt with 3 seconds to go. Pretty nifty execution by the Mountaineers, but will they get what they wanted, a chance to score more points? Staley is 0 for 1 today.
You want the payoff here because execution in that situation, going into the half, 2-minute situation, length of the field, under a minute, and no timeouts. You practice that all fall camp to execute it that perfectly once you get to games.
The punter, Groudon is the holder from 37 yards out for the redshirt junior from Romney, West Virginia, Evan Staley. Shinohara, the snapper. Doink, and good. Well now, West Virginia does get their reward. They just had to sweat it out a little bit, and they go to the dressing room ahead 10-7 after the break. We will take a look at the unique path into college football of Mountaineers defensive lineman Mike Brown That and a lot more right after these messages, with West Virginia ahead 10-7. But we are waiting for Larisha, who is going to be and Larisha standing by with Les Miles. Larisha.
Coach, how impressed are you with the production of your defense in the first half?
Defense is playing lights out. I mean, they got playing with great heart. The reality of it is the offense has got to put make their presence felt.
And so, is there something specific that you are looking for from Carter Stanley?
No, I got to be real honest with you. I think he's doing the things that we've asked him to do. I think we got to ask him to do some other things.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much. All of the things I mentioned and more coming up. On a field goal pretty much at the halftime buzzer, West Virginia takes the 10-7 lead, and Neil Brown is standing by with Larisha Harris.
Coach, your defense has been really physical. What have you seen from them that has allowed you guys to be successful thus far?
Well, other than that one drive, we've really taken an edge, set an edge. We've been able to rally and get to their running backs, and we're going to have to continue to do that because they got really good players.
So what adjustments need to be made offensively in order for you guys to get in the end zone a little more?
Well, defensively, we just got to tackle. You know, we had to get quarterback several times in the backfield, didn't get him down. Offensively, we just got to finish drives. We've been able to move it, but we've got to be able to finish.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Well, Mike, what do you think of those comments from Neil Brown?
Yeah, it makes sense. They've been doing a great job of limiting Kansas's best players. Puka Williams, Khalil Herbert, guys we haven't heard their names much called today outside of a few instances. What you'd really like to see going forward for both teams, quite frankly, is execution. Bad drops in certain spots. To start the game for Kansas, their opening drive stalled by a drop that should have gone for a first down. Top to bottom for all of them, I think execution is going to be the key in the second half, as both coaches have tried to put their signal callers in the best possible positions.
The Mountaineers will start the quarter with a football, and they will have the wind at their backs, and it is a bit breezy today in Lawrence. The weather forecast 24 hours ago was dire, and you could see the wind causing some problems there. The 20 to the 15, 25, 30, and West Virginia will take the football over there.
13, Sam James.
Take a look at the numbers from the first half. And West Virginia has had a tough time running the ball. They've had a tough time all season so far. Kansas, neither team really offensively explosive at all, and 5 sacks combined in the first half.
West Virginia came into this game averaging 2.8 yards per carry on the year. It's been a struggle through the first 2 games. It was right around 1.1, that NC State game, sort of their saving grace. Seen it going today, hopefully more in the second half.
Austin Kendall will go underneath to Kennedy McCoy, and McCoy tripped up.
Pass complete to number 6.
No question, Kansas has tackled very well today. Take a look at the first half drive chart for West Virginia following that 5-yard pickup. And they came out of the gates on fire and didn't really get it going again until right before halftime with a beautifully executed 2-minute drill.
When I was at Notre Dame, one of the things we went into every game saying was start fast and finish strong. That meant in the first half and the second half. They started with a touchdown. They ended with a field goal on a great 2-minute drive. Need to carry that over.
Little flip here to Simmons. Simmons gets a couple of good blocks and will get a first down around the 45-yard line. Excellent execution that time by the Mountaineers. Gain of 9.
This is getting back to what they did well at the beginning, which is get Kansas's defense off balance. They were playing downhill to end that half, especially in the red zone. Someone is going to be wide open in the middle of the field soon if they keep this up. A draw, a screen, a shot, a play on the side like that, setting up for a big shot play.
McCoy, nothing there. If he'd been able to bounce a little bit to his left, that might have been spectacular, but Jelani Brown, number 90 there, kept that from being anything. It'll be no gain.
You mentioned to his left, that's where they've had the most success running. They're running a lot of simple inside and outside zone schemes. Get their offensive lineman, get your running back on that angle and try and make one cut. Going towards their left with Colton McKivitz, they've had success. Elsewhere, not as much.
A little bit of trouble here, and the field opens up for Austin Kendall, who will slide to protect himself in KU territory at the 49-yard line. That'll be 4 yards to go. for the first down.
You saw the three-man game right here. And a great job by the offensive lineman. Malcolm Lee is supposed to get over and cover that gap that was vacated so they can close the net around the quarterback. And instead, it gives Austin Kendall just enough of a lane to give them a much more manageable 3rd and 5.
Empty backfield. 5 receivers in the pattern. Long throw. Good catch at the 45-yard line. That's right where they needed to be. And if that's the spot from the linesman, that's a first down, and it is.
Great job by the coordinator, or in this case, the head coach and Neil Brown, calling the plays, giving your quarterback information. You motion your running back out of the backfield. You see, all right, the defensive back expands, a linebacker or a safety doesn't run. I know I've probably got zone coverage. I can hit that soft opening on the outside and move the chains.
Sean Ryan gets the first down grab. A little pressure here, and it's just dropped. Nothing else to say. Winston Wright Jr. could not hang on. It'll be second down. Pressure coming from the outside by Johnson on the quarterback, Kendall. 3 drop passes so far for the Mountaineers.
That's the execution we talk about. You try and make life easy for your true freshman there. Get him in a situation where there's no one around him. Great job on the pressure by Kyron Johnson, but that's just a drop by a true freshman who got his first real playing time last week in that big win over NC State.
Yep, out of Pooler, Georgia.
And that's a great way to get young guys involved, is gadget roles like that. Use him as your motion guy. Simplify what his responsibilities are, but he's got to go out and deliver when he gets the chance.
They bring in the fullback, Timmons, number 42. And they run McCoy. That will be first down as he is knocked out of bounds around the 30-yard line.
Same sort of backhanded draw from the first half right here. Austin Kendall, almost reminiscent of that old Statue of Liberty play from Boise State many moons ago. Is that Kellen Moore, the player, not the star coordinator for the Cowboys at that point, or was that before him?
That was before Kellen Moore. Oh, big hit. Kansas has really popped people today, and there was Johnson again. We saw him put the pressure on Kendall. This time he causes a big loss. 6 TFLs now, tackles for loss for Kansas.
And we hear all the time with these read option plays right now, what are the best ways to combat this? You see the quarterback reading the backside. Well, that time you missed the block underneath and you blitzed the mesh point. Kelby Wickline, the right tackle, not able to cut off Kyron Johnson. Gets a great hit right at the spot of the handoff.
It's a 4-yard loss. Petaway is now the tailback, number 32 for WVU, and he motions out. Caught, 23-yard line. That is Sam James, another grab for West Virginia, as he is emerging as perhaps their #1 option as a receiver.
3rd in the Big 12 in receptions coming into this game. You saw some confusion on the back end. Bryce Tornaden trying to communicate with the rest of the secondary on who's supposed to take the running back. And Petaway, as he comes out of the backfield, and it gives an easy opening for your redshirt freshman wideout.
Play number 10 of this drive coming on. This is exactly how the game started. West Virginia went 13 plays on their opening drive in the first quarter to score.
And now 2 tight ends on the field. I'm alert right here if I'm Kansas defense.
Instead, it's Petaway picking his way through and pops loose, and he'll score.
Touchdown, West Virginia.
Marcel Petaway had been averaging less than a yard per carry. He's up that one.
He's their second leading rusher from last year. Great job, the extra effort block. You saw Azur Kamara coming scot-free off the edge there, and at that last minute getting just enough of the block. Couldn't even see that blur of blue came out of nowhere. Said it was alert. You'd seen last week anytime 2 tight ends were on the field, that was usually a pass going down. A great tendency breaker by Neil Brown.
10 plays, 70 yards, 4 minutes and 24 seconds. And they open the first half with a touchdown drive. They open the second half with a touchdown drive. The senior from Detroit, Marcel Petaway, over 1,000 yards in his career at West Virginia.
Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus is a must for Big 12 fans. It is home to more than 50 men's basketball games, 200 plus women's basketball and Olympic sports events, original content, coaches' press conferences, and shows. Big 12 Now is available on your phone, tablet, desktop, or TV-connected devices. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
And you are watching the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, where West Virginia has opened up their largest lead of the day, 10 points, 17-7. Of course, Kansas fell behind twice on the road at BC by 10 points before coming back to storm Boston College and rout them in the second half. But they are home here, and we'll see their first possession of this half, how they perform. Meantime, the West Virginia faithful feeling pretty good after that opening drive.
There's always one crowd on every sideline during every kickoff in America of towel-waving animals, and that group over there, shoot a little air guitar in there, never hurt anybody.
Yeah, I like the Pete Townsend windmilling as well. Very good. So let's revisit, Mike Golick Jr., your keys for Kansas to come back and win this game.
Yeah, you look at what we started off the game with Kansas. Carter Stanley, no interceptions on the day. So far, so good. Big days from Bryce Tornaden and Mike Lee. 9 tackles between the two right now and showing up in some big spots. Coming in at 5 yards of play, and that was what they were really working with going into that Boston College game where they did so well. Through the first half of the Boston College game, they were up to 9.7 yards of play. 100-yard rushing, all that stuff is great. But it's that yards per play that really shows you the consistency that this offense and this offensive coordinator and Les Kenning want.
The play action fake to start. Stanley's going to take off. Break one tackle, not that one. That'll be 3 yards for the senior, Carter Stanley from Vero Beach. See what Kansas got off to a terribly slow start. And Stanley has to come out of this game. He lost his helmet.
His helmet came off, so you see Manny Miles coming out.
Yes, that's Les's one of 2 sons that Les has on the team. And number 14, Manny Miles, will be in for this play. And his brother is the fullback, it looks like, or that might be 49 Hudson Hall. That's 49, not 29. And they'll pitch it. And he'll follow Hudson Hall, who gets off a big block, and Puka Williams Jr. breaking tackles and getting out to the 41-yard line. Old-fashioned football paid off.
You wondered when we were going to see more of this, and it was great to highlight the fullback going into that play. A nice lead outside zone here. You'll see 49 come around and get a great lick on Shea Campbell there to help give Puka plenty of room to work with out on the edge.
He doesn't need much. Carter Stanley is back in the game at quarterback for Kansas.
First and 10 Kansas at the 40.
And this is Puka reversing field. He gets a little block again from Stanley. Puka finds a gap and goes into West Virginia territory to the 43-yard line. First down, Jayhawks.
His 2 biggest runs of the day have been on complete busts up front. You look and see plenty of yellow. He turns back, again, going against the grain in an outside zone. There is no one there to block for him. That is him making an entire defense look silly because of his physical gifts.
17 yards there. He's gained 29 on his last 2 carries. Stanley has time, throws. That actually hit Bailey in the helmet, but he may be flagged for pass interference. Charlotte was the intended receiver. We have not had a lot of flags in this game.
Pass interference, defense, number 24, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And you get a bit of an idea that it's still a little bit breezy out there, although it doesn't appear to be, based on the flags, as windy as it was earlier.
You see right here, Bailey even trying to turn around and make a play, but got that arm sunk in on the chest. The referee's going to call that one every time.
Khalil Herbert, number 10, is the tailback now for Kansas. So the one name, and I go back to the comment, Mike, you made earlier, we still haven't talked anything about Andrew Parchment, the junior out of Fort Lauderdale, number 4 for Kansas. Follow the tight end here, Herbert. And he'll get inside the 30 to just shy of the 27. That's about 4 yards.
Great job by the left tackle, Akeem Adeniji, their captain, making his 40th start today. Getting great movement on the edge of that defense. You blow someone off the ball like that, it makes it easy for everyone. But Andrew Parchment, 0 receptions, had his second 100-yard game of the season in the win against Boston College. He is their facilitator for them, as great as Puka is.
And it's Stanley on the read. cutting back, getting flipped, and a first down. Norwood brought him down. Stanley takes the hit and keeps the drive going.
We started the drive with a big shot down the field where he ran, and it wasn't by design, but it was a great decision. This one by design, and you leak the tight end out the backside and get a great block from Parchment down the field as well.
Stanley thought about the end zone. Gonna run again. He doesn't slide, does he?
No, and that's something we talked to his offensive coordinator, Les Kenning, about, who said teams are going to follow tough guys that make plays. That sets a tone for your offense. As much as the head coach might cringe, his offensive coordinator loves seeing that kind of leadership. That fires up a group. I'm an offensive lineman. I'm fired up in the booth right now.
Second down and 5. He'll take off again. He'll get a first down.
And I promise it doesn't look like much to us and the people watching, but this is Carter Stanley taking the coaching he's been given. Where if it's not there, just tuck it and run. I saw a great piece on Jake Fromm earlier today. He's saying you can't take a loss if you take a profit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Simple advice, and I probably botched the quote. Something along those lines.
It's first and goal from the 8. This is the 8th play of the drive. Down to the ground, and a loss of 2 as Stills, Darius Stills, comes in along with Josh Chandler to stuff that. It'll be second and goal from the 10.
Him and his brother just live in the backfield. These guys are great at getting on edges right there. That time making life difficult, the backside guard trying to get him cut off.
And Kansas goes right back to Puka Williams, who gets inside the 5-yard line, may have even gotten to the 4. Third down and goal. Interesting play call coming up here.
See a player down for West Virginia.
Yeah, and Puka looks a little bit shaken too with that right arm. Can't see who the West Virginia player is for the moment. First time we've had the athletic training staff on the field for either side. We'll step aside with Kansas facing third and goal from the 4. Chandler was shaken up on the play. Happy to see that he's walking off under his own power, but he'll be missing this critical third down.
See the collision right there between him and Puka Williams, who, for a back Puka's size, only $170. Between the tackles. Understands as well as anyone. Powers an A-gap run.
Chandler leaves with the team high 7 tackles. Third down goal from the 4. Carter Stanley wants it quiet.
And I love this decision right here by Les Kenning. Spread it out. Give your quarterback nice, easy views of what's going on. We've seen him tuck it and run it plenty on this drive. You're in range.
Fake to Herbert. End zone. Knocked away. Bailey got a hand on that. It's 4th down and goal.
You had Dalen Charlotte, what looked like from our angle, wide open coming underneath right here. You see the switch route. Everyone runs with Parchment, and even on a day where he's not having a ton of success, no catches still for number 4 in blue. He draws so much attention because people know he's a threat, and it lets guys like Charlotte go wide open. That time just a miss by Carter Stanley.
So the lefty, Liam Jones, a junior from Choctaw, Oklahoma, on for a 23-yarder. And Kansas gets a reward on what was done primarily on the ground. Not all the running plays were design runs. They were some scrambles by Carter Stanley to keep the drive going. But Kansas at least gets something out of it and pick up 3. Was Jones hobbling just a little bit there?
It looked like it.
Yeah,
he is. The lefty holding that left leg now. It's going to be interesting. They've got a kickoff coming right now.
He is their kickoff man. And I don't know if that's something that's been bothering him and it just flared up again, or if that's something new.
Hate to see that for one of the few kickers in the NCAA with a full tattoo sleeve.
And he's looks like he got that right arm getting ready to be worked out too.
Gotta love college football. A pair of 46s standing together.
Yes, you don't see that. So they have gone to the bench. And Jacob Orsilla will be handling the kickoff here. And it's an onside kick. And Kansas has it. Flag is down. Now, what could the infraction have been? I'm curious about. Unless it's possibly offsides. And it was recovered by Horn.
The kick was recovered by number 88, Jamal Horn.
This will be the angle right here.
It's very, very close. And that's Horn, who may have been the one who was offsides. But I'm looking at the timing of the flag. Look at the timing of the flag.
Came in so late, and usually not where you'd see it along the line of scrimmage if he was indeed offside. I'm struggling to see what the penalty. A great job of Horn going up over and making the strong play on the ball. And a phenomenal onside kick.
Yeah, I don't think you throw the flag for offsides from that yard line. So we'll find out what the officials are discussing about. We're going to find out right here.
Clearly not offside based on the shot we're seeing right here. Well behind the line as contact's made.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team, number 88. By rule, the receiving team must be given an unimpeded opportunity to catch the kick, and he was not. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, West Virginia.
Now that we know the call, let's see. Well, by the definition of what our official referee Brandon Cruz said, I guess that's not unimpeded. But to me, it's just two guys going for the football.
You cannot time it any better than that. Let's put it that way. Unimpeded to it, just happens to go up and meet him at the ball at the same time. I'm not sure what else you can coach.
And Dante Bonamico was the West Virginia player involved in that. It's going to be an unbelievable break for West Virginia.
What a swing in field position, too, with the penalty now as well.
All the feel in the stadium instead of the joy. Now you have anger, except, of course, for the West Virginia folks who made the trip.
Kansas defense, sudden change. They have thrived down in this area of the field. We've seen the confidence from them. This unit has the challenge now to go and bow up in the face of this adverse situation.
And Les Miles getting the explanation from Brandon Cruz. And he's finished the argument. Can't win it. So here it is, unimpeded opportunity to make this catch. And from that angle, it almost looks like Horn stole the ball. But it's in the past. We move on with 1st and 10 for West Virginia. Austin Kendall going to take a shot. Miscommunication, and it's, wow, that could have been a disaster for West Virginia. The nearest player to that was Mike Lee along with Ferguson.
Got this crowd fired up. You see Ferguson faking, running down the outside, breaks off the route short. It almost looked like a wheel route you'd see from a running back. You thought he'd go, looked well covered. But quarterback and receiver not on the same page, clearly.
2nd down and 10. Late substitution, so they have to protect the football to allow Kansas to substitute on defense. Petaway. Short game. Crocs will help stop him. He was slowed down by Mulraney, 97, who had the first opportunity. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
If you were looking for atmosphere, that play was apparently what this crowd needed to really start letting West Virginia have it. Down in this area of the field, too, they've started to turn up the intensity here after what they thought was a box call on the onside kick.
Well, it's not the most common call in the book. You know about unimpeded with punts. That's much more common. To see one called on an onside kick is rare.
And a lot of those are player safety in mind.
Yes.
With the onside kick, one of the more violent plays traditionally in football.
With 1 second to snap, delayed draw, no success. Maybe a yard at best. Cody Cole III stopped it.
And a great job and an even better celebration there. Just being aware of the situation, understanding the down and distance, trusting what you've seen, and then beating your man there on there. I understand Chase Barron. It's a draw. You're trying to lose a guy to the outside, but you've got to understand the timing of the play, or else you're just feeding a fastball to your running back.
All right, for the first time, Evan Staley will have the wind as his pal. This will be from 44 yards out. He's 1 for 2. The 37-yarder was pretty dramatic. It doinked in off the right upright right before halftime. That one striped. And West Virginia will get 3 points out of that controversial call that gave them great field position. Kansas at least did not allow a first down in that situation. Their third 3 and out. But West Virginia picks up 3 in what has become a hostile territory here in Lawrence. You're watching the Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus, and KU Men's Hoops is streaming on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. You see all those games beginning with Monmouth on November 15th. It will include both games against the Mountaineers, a trip to TCU in March. So sign up at ESPNplus.com. 291 straight home game sellouts at the Phog. And the ball blown off the tee. The crowd was reminded to be mad at the officials again as soon as one of them ran on the field to reset a clock.
The wind, the officials, no one is safe from the chorus of boos here.
Oh, they're a little bit upset with a onside kick that was wiped out by penalty. And we were headed for touchback territory. Let's check in with Larisha.
Well, Dave, you talked about the hostility now coming from the crowd, and you hear the boos behind us right now. But I talked to Khalil Herbert, and he told me, hearing those sounds, hearing people tell him, hey, great game, knowing that the fans are in the stands is all that he really needs to hear to help the team, help himself and the team have a really good game. He said it's exciting. There hasn't been any pulse to get the fan base going, but having Les Miles here has basically ingested an instant credibility to excite the fans, and he's all for it.
Now, will that translate into W's and L's is the next question. Thank you, Larissa. On 1st and 10, Carter Stanley's going to take a deep shot. Has his man, it's Parchment. He's wide open, and they're not going to get him. 75 yards.
Got your crowd hyped for all the right reasons now. We mentioned him to start the broadcast as a guy who's been so integral to their success. You see big personnel on the field for them, which has been a play-action indicator, and you give plenty of time for that deep post route to develop. Great protection for Carter Stanley. And how about the confidence off the last drive, the look to the sideline for a guy who was making quick decisions on that field goal drive in the second half. And now makes an even bigger throw.
And Liam Jones is back out to tack on the PAT. It's a 12-second play for the drive. 75 yards, 1 play. First catch of the day for Andrew Parchment is spectacular. Carter Stanley knows it. Well, you talk about a mood changer. They're not booing anymore. They're on their feet and joyfully celebrating their Jayhawks. After the 75-yard hookup from Stanley to Parchment has made this 20-17. And look who's back out kicking off, feeling better about himself. I'm beginning to wonder if that whole thing wasn't orchestrated by Kansas and Les Miles, who certainly has done some interesting gambles in his career and almost paid off on the onside kick earlier. Now West Virginia will try to recover, and there's a big hit on special teams on James at 22-yard line. So you saw Jones pull the my leg routine, and he's back out there and booting it well.
Yep, you saw the switch right there. The motion across, and the safety comes up looking at the tight end there. And it leaves no one behind to help the corner as Parchment goes across on that deep post right now. So the pre-snap motion, getting that defense to move and giving Stanley exactly what they were looking for when they drew that up coming into that drive. Those are always my favorite. One play, do a little running to go celebrate and get a drink on the sideline.
Now that's going to be a false start, it looks like, on the left side of the
offense. Number 53, 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
1st and 15.
And this is cool right now. You see the juice from the home crowd. This defense has been playing its heart out really for the last few games. And now in a situation where they get to get this fan base excited about where this team is going, as they've got West Virginia backed up to start a critical drive at a juncture right now for Kansas and West Virginia.
And it'll be Kendall on the keep, on the zone read, dragged down by Kyron Johnson. Gain of 3, second and a dozen to go.
These linebackers, when you look at the whole group, Drew Prox, Kyron Johnson, these are guys that were making their first starts this season. And so Coach understands, DJ Elliott, the defensive coordinator, that every week the learning curve is going to continue to go up for these guys. They're going to continue to absorb more, get more snaps under their belt, and be able to see more better because of it.
Kendall from the empty set, throw, short pattern, look out here. Breaking through is Simmons, and he is dumped. And a hard hit, and Johnson a little bit slow getting up for Kansas. That's a gain of 17.
Talked about simplifying things on offense here. Just a nice, easy stick route for TJ Simmons. The offensive line up front goes a full line cut, so everyone's throwing at their defender, trying to get their hands down so the quarterback can get the ball out on time. Nothing in his face to worry about, and you get an easy completion and a nice run after the catch.
Kyron Johnson stays in for Kansas, number 15 in blue, stepping in now to rush the quarterback. One-on-one in space, and that is Winston Wright Jr., who can fly, the freshman from Fuller, Georgia. Not a big guy, 197 pounds, but he can move.
And that's one-on-one with one of the best players on this Kansas defense. Bryce Tornado, again, plays that hawk role, kind of that tweener linebacker safety. Gets out there and tries to do too much breaking down right there. We talked about shooting it, firing before, going in and making a play, diving at the receiver right there while you've got the chance, forcing him to stop and come back. Instead, gives him an easy run.
Time running out in this third quarter. West Virginia did have a 10-point lead until the 75-yard hook up to Parchment has cut it down to 3. Right down the gut. Good hands. First down. Catch made there by Ali Jennings. West Virginia coming right back, and the crowd has gone a little silent now with the way the Mountaineers have responded, and they had poor field position.
Rarely do drives that start with procedure penalties ever end up gaining this kind of momentum, but it's all been timing and rhythm. Quick, easy throws for Austin Kendall.
We're at 1st and 15 at one point. Now they go to the ground. McCoy gets a couple of good blocks, gets to that edge, and is taken out of bounds by Kamara.
Stop made by number 5.
That's a chain mover. That's first down. Neil Brown, he is the play-calling architect. That is what he did at Troy. He had some big seasons there in Alabama, the former Troy State.
See, and this is an area where I've called it 2 times now with 2 tight ends coming out onto the field. Be alert for a shot, and they've run it every time. You've gotten enough of the tendency breaker in there where Kansas is going to have to start coming downhill.
They send James in motion. They go underneath a little bit to McCoy. Breaks one. And almost broke his second tackle, but Jay Deneen, 43, was able to slow him down. But that's another good gain for West Virginia on this drive of 6.
And so it's good because now you've got another look off of it for the defense to think about. Now they can't just sell out on the run anymore when you get in that personnel. And it takes a little bit of that speed. All the defensive linemen that have been pinning their ears back going to work now have to think, all right, well, the draw is an option. The screen is an option.
Yeah, handoff here. Right up the middle to the 25-yard line goes the senior from Lexington, North Carolina, Kennedy McCoy, for a gain of a couple. Sets up 3rd down and 2, what might have been the final play of the third quarter, depending on Neil Brown's whims.
This is a big test on the day, as it looks like they're going to be content to let the third quarter clock drip away. A big test. This is the best area of field for the Kansas defense. When we said West Virginia, if they're going to win, had to be above 50%, converting their possessions into points. They'll have their chance.
Thought it was going to be a close game. It has been a close game. And West Virginia trying to hang on and pick up a road win and get their first Big 12 win for Neil Brown as Les Miles tries to get his first Big 12 win for Kansas. Fourth quarter, full of suspense coming up. This is the Big 12 now on ESPN+. The Mountaineers and the Jayhawks in Lawrence, Kansas, 20-17, West Virginia. And you see Kennedy McCoy having a big day for a team that's had a tough time on the ground, but he's approaching the 100-yard mark. Carter Stanley has played well. I'm Dave Lamont, joined by Mike Golick Jr. and Larisha Harris, who's at sideline level, and they go to trick play. One man to beat. Gonna be close. Sam James got cut down by Tornadin. Did he make it?
Looks like they're going to mark him just short, the official there. How about Bryce Tornadin, man? We said this kid had to have a big game, him and Mike Lee. And just a few plays ago, he got in a one-on-one situation outside, hesitated a little bit and got beat. No hesitation there. That was a missile shot.
And with the wind in their face now, and it's possible James was shaken up on that hit too. Hopefully he'll be all right. Trainer's talking to him, but right now at fourth down, they're taking plenty of time off of the clock, and clearly they're going to burn a timeout. Neil Brown standing next to an official calls the timeout. They tried one fourth down earlier and didn't get it. They've got a little more than a yard to negotiate to get the first down if they go for it. So the spot is just short. Let's check in at field level and Larisha.
You guys were talking about Bryce Tornadin and what he just did in that last play. Well, we know that he's from Lawrence, and he actually is a fan favorite. When speaking with the coaches, they talked about his character, saying he worked hard. He's a person of integrity. He wants to do everything right, and he's a person that you can trust on either side of the ball. He does that on the field, but as well as off the field. You know, he was elected to the 2019 All-State AFCA Good Works team, just one of 4 Jayhawks to ever be chosen for that team.
And 1, West Virginia.
Love having a guy you can count on every sense. And I love this from West Virginia. Prime QB sneak territory.
Instead, they're going to roll him. They're going to go to the end zone. And it's incomplete. And there is Campbell, their touchdown man, who's got 4 catches, 3 of them for touchdowns. And there is a penalty marker down. And if you thought they were upset about the onside kick call.
Pass interference, defense, number 13, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Hassan defense was called for this, number 13.
Seeing that in real time, he absolutely got there too early. That's the right call. Interfered just enough. And this is a great job. You mentioned unpopular calls by the officiating crews, but the right call. Went back and saw the rule popped up, and it's right. Going back to that onside kick, if the ball doesn't touch the ground on the onside kick, then the receiver is afforded the same rights as a punt returner. And so in that situation, one we mentioned does not come up very often. The referee's got that right and made a gutsy call there down in the end zone that's going to give West Virginia a great chance from the opposing 9.
Yeah, the onside kick call, clearly a player safety move. That was just good old-fashioned pass interference. That is McCoy being dragged down. 99, Malcolm Lee on the stop. Second down and goal.
And the Boo Birds are back out here. We can tell everyone until we're blue in the face that these are probably the right calls, but the home crowd has voiced their displeasure.
Well, they don't have the benefit, unless they're watching us on their phones, which is not the worst idea ever. They don't have the benefit of what we have, the ability to look back several times.
They should all download ESPN+.
Counted on that. Second and goal. McCoy got a hole here, and it closed. Nice job by 97, Darius Moraney, to close that off. It's a 4-yard gain, 3rd and goal.
And you see this, an outside run here. Does actually a great job going around. That time gets the edge. As the offensive tackle, Colton McKivitz, his job is to go and get that edge, set it up. And you see a lot of tackles will work that inside arm and try and press him out. But you've got to run your feet through that, or else you give him a short edge like that and a chance to make a play.
11th play of the drive. Quick fire. Knocked down. McCullough got in there and broke it up. 4th and goal.
And now an easy decision to send out the field goal team and take points here. But a great play again, down in the red zone. You get to react faster as a defense. We talk about it all the time. The windows are tighter for quarterbacks. And you had McCullough and really Tornado right behind him there. Both seeing where the quarterback was looking. They'd seen TJ Simmons be a target in that short area. A lot of those familiar routes.
22 yards for Evan Staley. He's 2 for 3 today. 5 for 7 on the year. 5 for 8 on the year. 23-17, West Virginia, 12:35 to go. Kansas has trailed all game, except they were tied at 7. Well, Jayhawk fans will certainly remember West Virginia's first visit to Lawrence. In 2013, James Sims ran for 211 and 3 touchdowns. And the 12-point Jayhawk win was just their second in 40 Big 12 games and snapped a 27-game losing streak to conference teams. You saw a 68-yarder, you saw a 2-yarder, and it was a big win for Kansas back in 2013. They even tore down the goalposts. And Les Miles hoping to have that happen a lot more often. We all know the numbers the last 10 years or so have been very unkind to Kansas football. Everybody knows that. And Les Miles brought in to change the fortunes. Jamal Horn slipped a little bit when he got the ball. He will get it outside the 25 to the 27. There is a penalty marker down. And also
during the return, holding receiving team number 16. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Kansas.
West Virginia also has a player shaken up. Let's check in quickly with Larisha.
When I was speaking with Carter Stanley prior to the game, he told me he's a positive person and he likes to exude that energy to the offense. Well, right before they came out, we saw Carter Stanley go to each teammate on the offensive side, basically tell him, hey, let's take it one play at a time. We're in the fourth quarter. Let's calm down, one play at a time. We can do this. We are not out of this.
And that's what you want to see out of your quarterback. Thank you, Larisha. That's Osman Kamara,
81-15.
who is shaken up and needs a little bit of help to get to the sidelines. So the penalty will put the football back at the 10-yard line. Second time we've seen Kansas start from the 10. Puka Williams Jr., number 1, will be their tailback.
After the penalty.
And the I formation is in play. Puka on the pitch. Takes a shot. Big hit by Norwood, who, by the way, was ejected last week for targeting. Now, that wasn't a targeting call. Dylan Tonkery also helped him out.
Take a look at the hit right here at the end.
Uh-oh. That is helmet to helmet. Don't be surprised if the booth calls down when they look at that play. But they haven't yet. And they will not. Carter Stanley will fire. Receiver open, Parchment. And he runs out of bounds with a first down.
First down.
Surprised. Usually they look at anything that happens from the neck up in that situation and don't have time to get into some of the specifics of the targeting rule and the way it's enforced now. But certainly something West Virginia is going to be thankful they dodged.
A lot of movement. It's Puka Williams Jr. And Norwood and friends Bailey in there as well. Number 24. And 31, Zach Sandwich, stopped him about a yard short of the first down.
A lot going on. A lot of faith in your quarterback there with all that action right at the mesh point. Puka Williams now 12 carries for 67 yards on the day. A lot of tough sledding up the middle. Again, for a smaller back, they put him in a lot of these I formation situations. ask him to pound it up the middle.
Play action fake here. Carter Stanley. And it is intercepted spectacularly by Keith Washington II.
We said coming into the game, you needed a clean sheet from Carter Stanley to get, again, the decision-making in this process right now. That's a tight window. And we've seen he's capable of some spectacular throws. But trying to pivot, you see the great pivot there by Keith Washington. Just gets a hand on, pops it up to himself. The solo tip drill.
And looked pretty clear that the ball never did touch the ground and he had complete possession. That's the second Kansas turnover of the ball game. West Virginia has not turned the ball over at all. So all of a sudden, the Mountaineers and their head coach Neil Brown, 6-point lead. They get the ball at their own 49-yard line. 10:40 to go in this game. Going to run wide. McCoy seems to be the main back, perhaps, at least in this game, between Pettaway and Brown, and defense in there on the stop. But McCoy's had most of the work.
He was a preseason All-Big 12 pick, ton of talent. We've seen him split him out, get him involved in a number of different ways as they go to a little tempo now.
And it's worked before, and this time the quarterback will keep. Kendall's going to get some blocks and get out of bounds. Solid gain there for Kendall. He followed his block that time from George Campbell, the former Florida State Seminole, and it's a chain mover for the Mountaineers.
George Campbell, we heard from Neil Brown lauding the leadership ability of his fifth-year senior. He was very selective with the guys that he brought on as graduate transfers, and George Campbell, one of them. He has a young wide receiver group, and he wanted his professional approach, the way he attacked the game each and every day, to permeate through that room. So far, so good.
Played 22 games for the Noles, did Campbell. Handoff, this is Brown, and he shot through a very small gap to get inside the 30 to the 28, almost to 27 before being shoved back, but they'll mark him down very close to the 27. Going to be third down at about 3.
See some penetration up the field there by Cody Cole, but a great job by the runner, being patient, allowing the holes to set up, trusting the angle of the blocks.
Make it second down and 4. They slowed the pace down.
And I don't understand why. This area of the field we've talked about all day, Kansas is dynamite down here. Push the pace and make them stress a bit.
Again, Brown spins, hit hard, and Kansas's defense has been hitting. And that Jay Deneen down low. And Grenadin up top.
And here comes the tempo now. We mentioned third and short.
Well, it looked for all the world like the quarterback sneak was coming, and it does come, and it's very close.
And you see the ref waving him along already.
So first down.
See Austin Kendall here. He identified before the play where the soft spot was. That's why you get up to the line right away, get the defense to show their hands, flinch a little bit, and then every quarterback dive, unless there's a clear and obvious spot, you get to take that step back and surge forward for a great first down. Really efficient play.
No one left this time. Brown going to lose a couple of yards.
Tough look for Kansas right now. Drew Fox running off the field with a shoulder that's already got the brace on it. You see there the band around the arm, giving it some support, holding that arm a little bit. Guy that's led the team in tackles.
He has 9 today, by the way. That's right. His average was exactly 10.
On pace for 100 on the season right now. Again, just in his early portion as a starter right now for this team. 3 starts into his career.
They stay on the ground. McCoy back in. And so it seems pretty obvious that Neil Brown wants to chew some clock here. Although that time the clock stopped with him knocked out of bounds. But a lot of running plays.
Yep, you understand you're in range, and last time you were down here, the plays that were made by the defense on the ball. This is prime interception territory. You get some tips down by the goal line.
Third down and 4. 7 of 15 third downs. Petaway is the back. He gets the carry. And he gets the first down and is still gunning for extra yards. Marcel Petaway gets to the 12. Another set of downs for West Virginia.
This was a Kansas defense that last week held a big, strong, bruising Boston College with 240-pound running backs. Scoreless in the second half. This West Virginia offensive line shuffled completely last week. Had 3 players make their first start in a game, and a lot of those guys still on the field today in some new positions for them, all going out there and executing in a key situation.
And they have burned over 4 minutes on this drive, which began after the interception at their own 49-yard line. They'll stay to that ground. Petaway, the turf monster, got him. He lost a yard. He just slipped. Second down and 11, but more valuable time being taken off.
The clock Kansas' enemy right now as they line change that defensive line down here. We've seen, and this is tough, your defense is bowed up all day, the offense has rewarded it. Usually you've gotten complimentary football, but that turnover in the fourth quarter, all turnovers not created equal as the drive we're on right now. How about this as a tone setter from Neil Brown? 9 plays on this drive, all rushes.
And like we have a take out. Take them. Second 11, perhaps to put Kansas in a very uncomfortable spot with the touchdown. Let's go through what we saw in the first half. West Virginia, Mike, came out. First drive, 13 plays, zip down the field.
A little bit of everything sets up a nice, easy score from a rushing attack that's been rejuvenated today. Carter Stanley had a great chance to respond, opening up that spread passing game that helped them so much against Boston College. But the second half, great running up the middle from West Virginia.
Yeah, Martell Petaway there. And then the long bomb, the man we've been waiting on all day to have an impact in the game, and certainly Parchman did there.
Felt like the turning point for this Kansas offense. Finally a big play down the field for them. But then we know the Carter Stanley back-breaking interception that set up this drive for West Virginia.
Time of possession, not always an accurate stat about the game. This time it certainly is. And they go to the air for the first time successfully. Down to the 7-yard line, catch made by Sean Ryan that made sure he protected the football knowing he was going to get hit. That's third down coming up after the gain of 6.
Nice simple read for your quarterback there. You use the snap count, you see the linebacker coming downhill, and you know you got a route going right to replace that space that's going to have plenty of room that was just vacated by the blitzer.
So much time being used on this drive. Double the amount of plays. Can Kansas's defense stave it off? Over 5.5 minutes of time.
And still no Drew Prox back on the field for them.
Petaway. Yep. Really good at feeling his way through his blockers, and Petaway with his second touchdown of the day.
This is where you really miss Prox because you see the freshman Gavin Potter in position to make the play. Runs right past, can't even get a hand on the running back who puts a foot in the ground and gets a touchdown that really silences this crowd.
5:04 to go. And they may go for 2 here. Remember last week, Neil Brown took a knee in a point after touchdown situation to avoid any chance of NC State blocking it and returning it for 2. And he looks pretty disgusted with the way things are going here. I think he's going to burn another timeout, and he does. So a timeout called by Neil Brown. Everything was just a little bit disorganized. He had a player late.
This is the second timeout of the half by West Virginia. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, he's a little bit more than disgusted.
Veteran coach using the call sheet to cover his mouth as he unleashes a tongue lashing on someone.
Not the last one. Not the last word. But yes, he could be as mad at his coaches as, in fact, I think that's who he's mad at.
That's what it seems like, the communication overall. And we've seen that in a couple instances on both sides in special teams over the course of today. A strange amount of time that it's taken each side to make the decision to go ahead and send the punt team out. And it puts everyone in a bind then because you're rushing, trying to get personnel out in the field. You're trying to get set up the right way. And ultimately, you've got to burn valuable timeouts.
And Neil Brown has shown to have a real knack for play calling. So let's see what he comes up with here. A trick play. Looked like he was going to try to do a quarterback throwback. And now you're just scrambling around and throw, and it's going to be broken up. And now a penalty marker comes flying in as well. That one was a little bit rough. So Isaiah Esdale ended up trying to throw the football.
Probably going to be ineligible downfield with a trick play that takes that long to develop.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. His penalties decline. The try is no good. Timeout on the field.
So 29-17, Kansas, 5:04 remaining. Can they come back for Les Miles? Always big plays in every game, Mike. Let's go back and take a look at the onside kick that wasn't. Contact there, and you can't do that unless the ball contacts the ground first. So that wiped that play out. And then this play by Washington may have been even bigger than that.
At a critical juncture there, both actually gave West Virginia unbelievable field position. The difference was Kansas defense bowed up after that botched onside kick. And it's Kansas team again. We talked about the red zone. Kansas had been great defending in the red zone, above 50%, 4 for 4 today. 2 sacks on the day, so not quite in that mark. And they keep Andrew Parchment under 100 yards. He had the one big play, but besides that, has been largely silent.
And Kansas will get the football after the horn return around the 29-yard line. 11 plays on that last drive, and most importantly, West Virginia took 5 minutes and 36 seconds off of that interception. And 7-yard touchdown run by Pettaway, his second TD of the day. So now Carter Stanley has a couple of timeouts and less than 5 minutes to try to get his team down twice.
And I think if you're Kansas, you take a page out of West Virginia's playbook. Quick, timely throws that let your quarterback get into a rhythm and, most importantly, stave off that rush.
And they're coming. They go underneath. And here is Parchment. We'll get to the 36. That's a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Kansas is playing with the pace that they need to. Stanley now 12 of 16 for a little over 170 yards. Go to the ground with Herbert, and Herbert will get a first down across the 40 to the 41-yard line.
First down, Kansas. 5-yard gain on the play. First down to 10.
Carter Stanley needs the mental response now. His last trip out, he had to watch that long drive after an interception he helped create.
Has time, fires into a little bit of traffic. And that is a great catch by Charlotte. My goodness, he had a Mountaineer defender all over him, and it's a first down for the Jayhawks.
And you see timing and rhythm for this offense. Great job by that line, giving Stanley just enough time, but he's not patting the ball. That's what got him in trouble. We saw the fumble earlier in this game because of it.
And back to the ground, Herbert. To the 36, maybe even the 35-yard line. The first down will stop the clock.
This is the perfect answer right now for them too. Good mix of run and pass, understanding. All right, there's 4 minutes left. It's not dire just yet. And forcing them into some tempo. Neither offense has really utilized nearly enough in this game.
A little bit of pressure here, but it's picked up nicely. A nice long throw and out of bounds. Robinson in there to the 25-yard line. And another Kansas first down.
11-yard gain on the play. First and 10, Kansas at the 25.
Pressure this time from the outside. He gets rid of it just in time. And getting the foot down indeed is Robinson. Stanley took a shot, but he's okay.
Saw coming off that right side down here. Great job by Quindarius Qualls.
And that's what they want out of that bandit end. He almost got there, but that's 4 for 4 now. Stanley on the drive. Now Puka Williams Jr., a little change of pace, and he is so good inside. Gets inside the 10 to the 8. Kansas has not needed a timeout. Remember, West Virginia has only one. Kansas has two.
Kansas at the 8.
To the end zone.
And it looks like Parchment again being the one to draw the pass interference flag that's going to set them up.
Yeah, that flag sitting right
Prior
on the
to
goal
the
line.
pass, holding, defense number 8, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And a very frustrated Vic Koenig.
And yes, sir, that's an easy call for the official to make. So first and goal from the 4-yard line. You have your whole playbook available here.
Absolutely, and you got big bodies on the field right now.
We've got Hudson Hall, the fullback. It's going to be Poogie. What an excellent defensive effort that time for West Virginia. X-Ray low.
When we talked to Vic Koenig, he said we're going to have to guess right at some spots. That's one of them.
Pitch to Williams. Stopping at the 3. Third and goal.
You've gone the whole drive running out of spread, getting the ball out on time, throwing quick routes to your receivers, and now all of a sudden, down by the goal line, you start to change it up. I just don't quite understand why you take your quarterback out of that rhythm at this point.
Well, now they spread things out a little bit. They're 1 of 7 Kansas on third down today.
Prime area for a nice pick route down here.
There's a lot of activity, and that's exactly what happened. Parchment with his second touchdown catch. And because of the 2-point conversion that didn't go well, Kansas could just go ahead and go for the 1 and score another touchdown and steal the game unless West Virginia can answer.
I forgot my place as an offensive player. That's a rub route. And you see the contact just as much from the defender right there. It makes it difficult. You've got to sell those well as an offensive player. But when the defensive player initiates, it makes it even easier.
How about this response? 10 plays, 70 yards in 2 minutes and 49 seconds. And back we go. Now it's up to West Virginia with 2:10 to go to try to run out the clock. Will we see another onside kick from Kansas? Well, you saw Iowa State take care of business at home. Baylor up early at Rice. TCU upset by SMU, and I got to say, for SMU, that is a significant win from their crosstown foes. And coming up on ABC this evening, a game we are anxious to get to someplace and watch, Oklahoma State and 12th-ranked Texas. But this game has been wonderful. With Mike Golick Jr., Dave Lamont, Larisha Harris, and our ESPN Plus crew here, the Big 12 on ESPN Plus, and it has delivered. So, are we getting another onside kick? Well, the onside kick specialist is out there. They have 2 kickers out there, Porcilla and Jones. It's Porcilla. It did bounce, and it goes out of bounds. So, West Virginia will retain, or rather will get possession.
No foul on the play for illegal batting. It's legal for the receiving team to bat the ball backwards. It's first down, West Virginia.
So now Kansas has 2 timeouts, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Something we talked about, Mike, you and I on the break, about time management for Kansas when they got inside the 5.
Yeah, that drive, well, we talked about a great response by Kansas, great to cap it off with a score. 2 really questionable play calls down near the goal line. Those runs out of big formations for Puka Williams let about 40 seconds drain off the clock. Valuable time at this point in the game when you had been in such a great rhythm passing, ultimately score on the pass. Don't understand that one from Les Kenning and the staff.
So now the challenge for Neil Brown will be to see if he can squeeze the first down out of his play calls. He's got Leedy Brown as the back. And look at the quarterback. Austin Kendall will keep it. And Austin Kendall has a first down.
Quarterback number 12, Austin Kendall.
Not many people would have guessed the first running play was going to be Austin Kendall. He gains 11.
Seen a lot of this on the other side, but Austin Kendall a little more judicious when he chooses to pull it out. And just enough in the open field there to give Mike Lee that little extra and getting the first down. Really timely call. That's been the story of the day, I think, for West Virginia offense. Timely, well-timed draws, well-timed screens, things that just keep this defense on its heels enough.
Well, that puts West Virginia nearly 400 total yards. And we'll get a timeout here, I'm sure, and we are. Grenading on the stop. Clock stop with 1:28 to go. Kansas has one timeout remaining.
Second charge timeout by Kansas. 30-second timeout.
Kansas State and Oklahoma State next Saturday, 7 o'clock. The Big 12 now on ESPN+. You get to watch Chuba Hubbard, the Biletnikoff runner-up, Tylan Wallace. This Oklahoma State offense looks outstanding, but Kansas State, Mike, is tough, and they're going to muck up somebody's season this year. This game is going to be 7 o'clock Eastern Saturday, Big 12 now, ESPN.
Chris Kleinman's got that outfit going in the right direction. Skylar Thompson, I think, has really come into his own this year in an offense that's given them a few more options than what they're used to around there in Kansas State. You're right, expect them maybe not to compete for anything major, but to definitely be a bowl team and to be someone who's going to give the Texas, the Oklahomas of the world a scare.
Yeah, that's going to be a very good one, as this one has been too. West Virginia up 5 with 1:28 to go. One timeout for each side. Second down 9 for the Mountaineers.
Second and 9, West Virginia at the 37.
Conservative call, understandably.
Ball carrier number 4.
Kansas takes their last timeout. Let's look ahead.
Third and final charge timeout. Kansas. 30-second timeout.
So a first down wins the game for West Virginia. We'll take a look at what's coming up. A trip to TCU. That's going to be interesting now that TCU just took a bad loss at home. Then, oh man, Oklahoma and Texas back-to-back. You do get a bye in between the Sooners and the Longhorns. Texas Tech, Kansas State will come here, and then finish at Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and then Baylor back here at Kansas to wrap up Les Miles' first season. In Lawrence for West Virginia, we will see them take on Texas October 5th, and Iowa State, Oklahoma, their bye week, and they'll be at Baylor on Halloween. Texas Tech, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, they finish at TCU. Big challenges all the way down that schedule for both.
Big challenges right here. Third and looks like a long 7 for West Virginia.
How aggressive are you as a play caller here?
I'm just going to take the clock and allow my defense the opportunity here. You've got field position on your side.
And you have Kansas out of timeouts. And that's exactly what they did. And because Kansas cannot stop the clock, you can take forever to run your next play.
The way it shakes right now, you're seeing the clock tick down to about a minute. Going to be about 23 seconds left on the play clock, so you're just looking at a little over 30 seconds by the time this is all said and done.
Officials communicating with each other on the mics, because Brown has already told the head linesman when he wants the timeout called. Took that right to the nub. 38 seconds left.
Timeout, West Virginia. This will be a 60-second timeout.
So now you have 4th down and 6.
Awkward area of the field here, but really going to try and pin them back, make them go the length of the field.
We mentioned you can see Kansas hoops on Big 12 now. The same thing can be done for West Virginia basketball on ESPN+. Both the games against Kansas, a trip to Texas Tech, the national runner-up, and games versus Baylor. And, of course, Baylor made the NCAA tournament again. That'll be in February and in March. Catch the Mountaineers. Sign up at ESPNplus.com. Perhaps a bounce-back year for WVU in men's basketball. Yeah, 34-yard line. Now, we saw Neil Brown do something very conservative a week ago to avoid a 2-point possibility here. I mean, if you punt, there is that little risk of a block. I think you might as well go ahead and run a play that's safe. And then Kansas has no timeouts, and they've got to get 6.
Looks like they've got Groudon out there in the huddle. They're going to put their trust.
Yep,
the Aussie rule, the former Australian rules football player.
Well, there'll be nobody back deep to receive this for Kansas.
And 6.
And we'll see if Rowden maybe does a little rugby action here, too, to clear some space for himself.
Is number 96, Josh Dryden.
Got rid of it very quickly. And a touchback. So Kansas got a long way to go and not a lot of time to get there to try to steal this game. 31 seconds remaining with no timeouts. And the ball at the 20-yard line.
You're selling out paint and sidelines here now. We talked about the efficiency of the pass game on that last drive, the response to put them within a score in this game. But you've got to start taking some shots downfield here. Everything's got to be towards the sidelines. Carter Stanley's got to go out here and be perfect on this one. We said coming into the game, needed a clean sheet from him, needed him to play clean football. Had the one interception that unfortunately...
Reset the game clock, 32 seconds. 32 seconds on the game clock, please.
Well, will that 1 second make a difference? Stanley 16 of 20 for 207, 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception. That interception is just sitting there as a key play in this game. Rushing 4. Stanley going to take a deep shot right now. Incomplete. Into a little bit of double coverage. Trying to get it down to Stephon Robinson Jr. It'll be 2nd and 10. Well, they didn't mess around there.
I said you had to go a little deeper. They wanted it all in one shot, and it looked like it might have had a chance had it been a bit more of an accurate ball, but Les Kenning in this offense ready to throw some haymakers with 26 seconds left.
He had the protection.
And that's going to be key. You're getting a 3-man rush, maybe a 4th man added. This offensive line has got to give him ample time, create double teams.
Ooh, low snap. Quick throw, high. 3rd down and 10. Two chances left.
That had shades of the Boston College interception from the second play of that game. Low snap, and the problem there is the quarterback's got to take his eyes off downfield now. He's looking down. All of a sudden, all the action can change in a bit. It's the responsibility of the center to make sure you're hitting that hip.
3rd and 10. And now it's going to be a 1st down. Parchment sits down quickly. Clock will stop until it's marked ready for play. They got to it very, very quickly. 10 seconds when the ball is snapped to him. Stanley. Well, that won't do it. That won't do it. That is short of the 1st down. The clock won't stop. Well, they gave him the 1st down on that play. They did stop the clock with 3, and it spiked with 2. I did not think that was a 1st down.
I thought he was well short of that. So the 1st down stops the clock, and they spike it, so they are going to have one shot at this. I'm with you. I thought that was going to be the end of the game.
Number 15 has changed his number to 81. 15 is 81.
That is George Campbell. That is really close. I thought he was a yard short, and they gave him the ball on the 49-yard line. Statistically, he was listed as a 9-yard pass on the official stat sheet. That obviously is going to have to be changed. So they bring Campbell in as a receiver for these situations here. 1 shot left. They go underneath instead. Now here come the laterals. Parchment has it. Parchment keeps it. 1 more lateral. It's not going to work to Pookie Williams. And West Virginia will get the road win and start their Big 12 season 1-0. And it came down to the last breath on the clock.
Both of these teams were fighting for momentum, coming off big wins for their program early in these coaching tenures. Neil Brown on the West Virginia side, Les Miles for Kansas. And Neil and this team come on the road and stack another impressive win as they start to lay the foundation. As someone who's part of a coaching change, you look for these teachable moments to come back with your team to that next meeting and show them this is what we're capable of.
And I go back to what Neil Brown told us yesterday. we're really young. In 2 or 3 years, we could be good. All these players are going to be older. We're going to have talent in 2 or 3 years. They've got some pretty good talent right now. Yes, they're going to have some difficult moments, no doubt, with some of the opponents they're going to run into in this conference. And the same for Kansas. But moral victories, I don't know. I don't think Les Miles is a big moral victory guy. And his team had opportunities to take this game and could not. 29-24, West Virginia gets the win. .417 yards for Kansas. West Virginia 394. That last little burst gave Kansas the edge there. But right now, Larisha is standing by with the winning coach from West Virginia, Neil Brown.
Coach, you talked about having such a young squad. What mature component of play were you most impressed with so far today?
Well, it was ugly in a lot of ways, but our kids found a way to win. Thought we played better after half, especially on offense. We found a way to finish, but it wasn't clean. But 3-1 going in the break. 3-1 in the month of September. We're coming on a bye week, so we should have some confidence. Go on the road with the young team and win. And that team's getting better, and they're going to be good. I thought they did a really nice job.
You put forth the question of, can your team handle prosperity? How well did they handle it?
Well, we need to do a better job, especially early. I thought some of our young guys, Carter, great job. We got to do a better job starting the game. I just thought we were a little lethargic starting the game. We can be better, but we'll learn from it. We'll learn from it and get better.
And what was that key component to get you guys going offensively in the second half?
Well, I thought we ran the ball well. We got them, we formationed them, and we were able to get in some things where we ran the ball into the boundary, and that ended up helping us.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Larisha, thank you very much. Congratulations to Neil Brown and his Mountaineers for this win. And let's get back down to Larisha, who's standing by with Austin Kendall from West Virginia.
Austin Kendall, what does this win today here on the road say about such a young squad that you guys have?
Yeah, we're young. We're just fighting to get at it. Offense early didn't really do that well. We went down and scored the first drive, but after that we kind of stalled, and our defense always saves us. That's what it's been lately, and they saved us today. And finally we were able to get the running game at the end of the game, and I think it was 3 touchdowns on the ground, so that really felt good.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Larisha, thank you very much. And Austin Kendall walks off as the winning quarterback. For Mike Golick Jr. and Larisha Harris and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave Lamont saying so long from Lawrence for the final score of the final time. West Virginia 29, Kansas 24. All games airing on the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus or live and streaming on the ESPN app. If you want to watch the game on replay as well as other games on the ESPN networks, download the ESPN app. And you can watch the Kansas postgame show coming up on the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from Lawrence, Kansas.